Okay, and we're back. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it takes to do a voltage drop on the ground side of, let's just say the battery, just because it's kind of hard to finagle around the truck in a good amount of time. But what I am going to do is I'm going to show you guys briefly how you set up for a voltage drop. So for a voltage drop, here's one thing you got to understand. When you're doing a voltage drop, you're testing the circuit when it's performing the work it needs to. So the circuit's got to be live in order to do this. So you can't do a voltage drop where it's just like, oh, the circuit's not working, voltage drop. No, the circuit actually has to be doing work. So just like if we were measuring current, obviously current has to be flowing. It's got to be doing its job to actually measure it correctly and see what the resistances and stuff are. So for a voltage drop, what you're doing is, just like we have the truck disabled as far as not starting, we're going to do the same thing. So here is how we have this hooked up. And I'm hoping this makes sense once you guys start to kind of see this. Actually, I'm going to bring this up over or attempt to. Oh, yeah, that's my nice Duramax over there. That's my stepfather's Duramax. All right, so here's what we got. So I have the meter here. Here is how I have everything hooked up. So right there you see my negative leads on the negative side of the battery cable. So that's going to be ground. And then if you look, going down towards this way, hopefully you can see right where that positive lead is. That's where that ground wire goes to the engine block. So that's the engine ground. So it's going from, there's an actual cable there. I don't know if you guys can really see it or not. But there, that cable comes around and goes to the negative battery cable. So that's the engine ground is what we're going to try to test for and see what the voltage drop is on this. So right now it's kind of teetering between 0 and 1 millivolt. That's perfectly fine. Here's how we're going to test the circuit though to see if that ground actually works. So what I'm going to do, now notice it's not reading 12 volts because I'm on the ground side. All I'm doing is kind of like skipping around. So that is always going to be on the terminal. Another way I could do it is I could go from, let's say, the post to the actual cable connection. But just for this simple test, we're going to go straight from the actual post straight to the engine ground. So remember, we don't want anything above 0.2 volts. That's unacceptable if it's above 0.2 volts. So we don't want a voltage drop of more than 0.2 volts. It's too much resistance. So we're going to see what we get. It reads 0 right now. When I crank it, optimal would be this doesn't change. If this were to go up to, like, say 0.5 volts while I'm cranking the motor, that means I'm bleeding off voltage and it's not being used up to the fullest. Because remember, once you get the ground, you should use up all that voltage. Once it's the ground, boom, it's done. You used it all up. So this is the test. You want 0, and when you're done with the test, if it reads 0, awesome, that's what you wanted. You want to know that you have a good ground. You want it to be 0. But if it's anything above, like if it goes to like 0.2 volts or something like that, then you know you got something wrong. So we're going to test that. So keep an eye on the meter. I'm going to crank it 0 to 0.1 millivolts. We'll see if that changes. Sounds like we still got some fuel in the rail. So the one thing we're going to have to do is probably try to disable 5.7 millivolts. So that's still under 0.2 volts. Let's see if we can disable a little more. So didn't take that into account, but it sounds like we still got enough fuel in the rail that we're still trying to start. So let's see, what do we got else to work with here? So we got fuel pump. Let's see if we could find one for fuel injectors, which I'm sure is here. Okay, let's see. Fuel injectors. Okay, injector A. I'm going to say fuse 25. So let's see, fuse 25 on here.
Okay, so if I go down through, so 25 is actually right across from where the fuel pump relay was. So 25 is going to be a 20 amp fuse. So this guy right here. So of that, let's see if that gives us anything different. So we're going to try it again. Keep in mind, watch the meter because I can't. That's more like it. Okay, so like I said, I don't know what it came up on the screen as. Notice right now it says 5.8, but that's in millivolts. So once I go back through the video, I'll actually see what happened. But remember, anything below 0.2 volts. So we just tested the ground side. So if it's below 0.2 volts, remember 5.7 millivolts, that's like nothing. So if I were to put that into a decimal, that would be 0 volts, 0.00, and then it would be 5, whatever. So I don't really have to worry about the 5.7 millivolts. I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about at 0.2 of a volt, the 200 millivolts. Anything above that, that's too much. So that's what I'm looking for. That's the ground side, if I'm testing the ground side of the circuit. Now we can move on to the starter, the one we actually wanted to test. So I'm going to test on the positive side of the starter next. So we'll see what we get.